Welcome to KJTV, and today we have our guest here, Dr. Gerard Ondimu. Dr. Gerard Ondimu is a Senior Loan Administrative Manager, Capital Markets, Wells Fargo Bank, where he has worked for 18 years. And he has a Doctor of Business Administration from St. Mary's University in Finance and Economics. Welcome, Dr. Ondimu.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Ondimu, as we say, and many people may ask the first question, what is capital markets?
Well, that's a very good question. Perhaps I'll start with introducing myself further, but capital markets really is dealing with investments. Most people do not understand, and some do understand actually, that capital markets involves the stock market, and that's mostly where investors come in and sell security instruments.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know you came here as an immigrant. Tell us your journey as you came here as an immigrant up to where you are right now.
Yeah, very good question and very interesting. Slightly over 20 years ago, I moved to the United States to come. I came in as a student.
Okay.
Actually, M1 status.
Okay.
Slightly very challenging. Well, that was slightly over 20 years ago, and I liked the place and decided to stay much longer to gain some experience and move back to my native country, Kenya.
Okay.
I haven't, as you might tell.
You're on your way.
I'm still yet to move back.
Okay.
And the first initial years were a little challenging. We worked 2-3 jobs to make ends meet. We went back to school. I went back to school to continue with my program, an MPA program. I graduated in the year 2003, November. And by which time I was still working at Wells Fargo.
Okay.
I started working at Wells Fargo October of 2001.
Wow.
On October 1st, now getting to 19 years by the end of this October.
Wow.
This year. Yes.
Well, was that a long time?
Yes, long time. And over these years, I've worked in various different departments, including retail banking, commercial banking.
Okay.
Went to risk management, to QA. QA is quality assurance.
Quality assurance.
And to analytics as well.
Okay.
Yeah, right now I have moved over in Langs, and now I'm a senior manager in capital markets.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what was your experience as an immigrant, and what are some of the challenges you can inherit you went through?
Yes, I still go through various challenges, but not the same ones that I went through the first time.
Okay.
First time was find myself a good job.
Okay.
But I always dreamed to be working in a bank, and I said, well, maybe this is the first thing to begin. I started as a teller.
A teller?
A teller.
And now you are a
senior loans administration manager in capital markets.
Oh, okay.
As a teller, I was earning slightly less than what I was making in a nursing home. I did work in a nursing home.
Okay.
Just like most people do. And I took a pay cut, $2 pay cut.
To go to start working in the bank?
In the bank.
Wow.
And over those years, and then I grew up to be very fast, and because I was very passionate about understanding what it means to be financially stable.
Yeah.
And this is where I went into various departments, and I started working in commercial banking.
Okay.
Then I moved to mortgage. Then I moved now to capital markets.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, with your experience working in capital markets, and I was reading the Rockefeller report, which says about most of immigrants, more especially immigrants from Kenya, that they come here. In education, they are well educated, but one of the areas which they score low is in investment and savings. What can you be able to talk with your experience about these immigrants, that they don't have much savings, and what can they do to improve that?
Very good question, Dr. Amandi. And that's one area that I really am very passionate about, because I've had my personal experience about savings. We do have right now what we call Social Security, which is a statutory mandatory savings that we all must save in a way that at the end of it, when we retire, we have some savings. Now, 401k is also one of those savings which started in the early 80s in the United States. 401k takes the code of the tax code, which was started by the year 1980, going forward, when many companies started not giving pension schemes
Okay.
Now 401k is where you contribute to your savings account.
Okay.
And most employers actually provide matching up to a certain percentage if you actually enroll in it.
Enroll in the 401k.
The 401k. Most companies do give 401k.
Okay.
401k is for private companies, and then we have 403 for government institutions.
Okay.
So if somebody saves money into that account, the employer also matches it dollar to dollar to up to sometimes some employers 6%, some employers 4%.
Oh.
And only if you enroll in it,
You have to enroll in it
you
to
have to
benefit
enroll
from
to
that.
benefit from it. So
Okay.
it's like getting a pump of your pay, like 5 or 6% or even 3%.
Sure.
Take an example of somebody earning $50,000 a year. And if you enroll in a 401k, you will be probably, that's $1,500 or 50,000. If then your employer will match it with another $1,500, you'll be saving $3,000 a year.
Okay.
Compounded over the years, you'll find that you have saved a lot of money.
Okay. Well, that is an area, and I can say from my field as a real estate broker that even we and alone somebody would see that when you are having such assets like 401k, and that's one area I see most people don't save. They think that's a waste of money, and I don't know if they know that the employer is matching that.
I didn't know myself until the year 2005.
Okay.
So it's not really a surprise that most people don't know.
Okay.
Here is what I would advise people that are coming into employment or who are still in employment.
Yeah.
Find out what benefits your employer is providing. That's in step number one. Find out how you get vested into it. Step number two. Vesting is how soon you can access the money that your employer is matching.
Okay.
The money you contribute is vested right away.
Okay.
It's your money. But the employer also puts money into that account and you get vested into it. Most employers say that you work for them for a year before you get vested in that contribution that they're giving.
Yeah, you know that's a terminology you're giving. You need to put like a layman. What does it mean, vesting?
To be vested is when you have full access into
the
funds.
Okay.
That's when you are fully vested into it.
Okay.
Employers sometimes provide vesting in stages. First year, you get vested 25% of what they are contributing.
Okay.
Second year, maybe 50%. Third year, 75%. Fourth year, now you're fully vested to whatever they are contributing. That if you quit working for them, the employer, whatever the employer contributed into that account, you go with it. That is fully 100% vested.
Okay.
So that's what vesting means. Vesting means how much do you own what your employer is giving into that account that you are saving.
So what do you mean to say, if I enroll with the company and I've invested money and they are matching my funds, if vesting is supposed to be after 1 year and in 9 months I have a problem, then I want to withdraw money from my 401k. Does it mean the money the employer matched, I will not get it because I did it earlier?
Good question. Yes, you will not get that money, but here is the catch. You can always do not have to withdraw all the funds. If you are vested into it, the rules of 401k also allow you to take and borrow money from it.
Okay.
So you can borrow money from it and pay yourself interest, because you're going to pay interest into that account. So in fact, you are paying yourself that money. So it's you're borrowing from your account and paying interest into it. So I'll tell those people who want to use the money not to withdraw completely out of it, but to borrow money.
Borrow money. Against the money you're having there.
Yes.
That's a very...
And you can have 3 loans on your 401k account.
Okay. Now, being a loan administrator, you said you have worked with the mortgages, and that's one of the areas now we have people, and buying a home is one of the greatest investment people make in this country.
Yes.
What would you advise them about taking mortgages? What kind of mortgages they need to do, and what are some of the things they need to avoid?
A very good question. Today's market is really hard for people who are selling their homes, those who had bought homes probably 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
So had you bought a home, for example, 10 years ago, 2007, 2008, when the mortgage market was really slow, today's market you will have doubled, probably tripled
Yeah.
the value of the home.
Yeah, that's true.
So here is how. The mortgage that we pay, the total loan amount that you will take, say 200, let's take an example of a home of $250,000.
Yeah.
And the payments that you're making, monthly mortgage payments, is probably $1,500.
Yeah.
Yet the person who is lending is also paying probably around the same amount. The person lending, or even more.
Yeah.
The person lending has no interest whatsoever on whatever he's lending from.
Yeah.
But if you own a home, you have the interest in that home.
Yeah.
You can sell whatever difference between the value of the home at the time of selling it and the time and the loan balance. That is what we call equity.
Yeah.
You own that equity.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of money, which you will have saved from your monthly mortgage payments. And it could be even lots of money that sometimes you say, wow, I am so quickly so rich.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's very important that people start owning homes. Not only because you have the freedom to use that facility, you enjoy it, but also at the end of it, when you're tired with it, you're retiring from it, you put it in the market, you sell it, you get your money back.
Get your money back. But then we had a crash and whereby the real estate bubble, and you were, I think that time you were still in West Fargo, and you must
Yes,
have seen how people defaulted on homes.
I remember that time.
So from that experience, what will you advise people, those who are now homeowners? What are some of the mistakes the previous people did that they lost their homes?
A very good question. As number one, when you're owning a home, you're owning it to enjoy living in that home. That's the first value you get from it.
Yeah.
The second value is the total amount that you might get from it.
Yeah.
So the first thing that people must know is the value you get, the intrinsic value you get from staying in your home,
Yeah.
which is not quantifiable.
That's very true.
So enjoy that first.
Yeah.
Second, look at it as an investment. This investment is something that you may or may not get
Yeah.
at the end of it. But majority of the time, over history, we have seen that there's ups and downs in mortgages. When you are seeing that the depression, there's a market downturn, don't sell your home. Wait for a few more years.
Yeah.
You will get your money back.
You get your money
I
back.
still insist on a home.
Yeah, that is you made a very good point there, and that's when I told a person that I'm not selling you the walls of a home. I'm only selling your lifestyle, and that's true. And I think you put it clearly because it's a lifestyle. Because like I have to know whether the person has children, what the person likes.
Yes.
Because I will not take somebody to a house where the children, maybe the safety of the children is not good, or what the value, really the value of the home is your lifestyle.
It's your lifestyle, yes. And again, I am one of these, and I made a mistake. I did not buy a home right away when I moved here because for obvious reasons that we were not really sure when and how to stay around. So the sooner I knew that I'm going to stay here, the faster I bought a home. Here is the deal. We can have a beautiful home elsewhere, a home on the hill.
Yeah.
Very beautiful, but you're not living in there. And most of us do. Immigrants do have beautiful homes in our villages where we come from, in our big cities where we come from, but we live in apartments. Very squeezed, yet you can afford to buy a home here.
Yeah.
I'll advise you to buy a home here, enjoy it, because life, you'll never live twice. You live once.
You know, you make me feel guilty too. on that area where we build very beautiful homes, which is not bad, I mean, I say, but then now you have to hire even people again to live in that home to take care of your home where you are spotting here. So, do you advocate that we should buy a home here before we invest back home, or?
Not quite. It's every person has their own situations. The situations are very different. But I believe that wherever you find yourself, make yourself comfortable.
Fast.
Before you reach out and invest elsewhere. Because when you invest elsewhere where you are not able to manage your investment, then perhaps you're losing out.
Yeah. And particularly now, on the same issue that we go to the present time now, the people we are having, like some of the challenge. Do you think that when you came, immigrants had more challenges than now? Do you think now things are easier? How do you compare that?
Very good question, and it depends on who you ask that question. You ask me now, I'll tell you there were more challenges then than it is right now. But if you find a new immigrant today, the immigrant today will tell you there are more challenges now than then. But here's the deal. It depends on what challenges you're talking about. Because then when we moved here, we had little knowledge. Internet was not even there.
Yeah.
So knowledge is power. With the current information on our fingertips, I would say life should be easier. Because we had no idea about benefits at workplaces. We had no idea about jobs, because jobs you had to physically move into a physical facility and find out if they had a job and apply for the job.
Yeah.
These days you go online, you apply for a job. These days you go to a facility and you say, hey, you have a job, they will tell you go online and apply for a job.
Apply for the job.
They do not have the form.
So things have changed and they are more convenient.
They are more convenient, and you can actually work from home.
Okay.
Sometimes I work from home, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
Then there was no home offices. There were no home offices.
So what will we advise the young people who have now grown here, because their culture is so different? You may be having a very strong connection to your country. Like, this is a question I've found young people say, why do you keep sending money to your country of origin?
Very good question.
Do you think they have a point there?
They do, and they sometimes do from their point of view, which might be so limited according to our experience. I have cousins, I have brothers and sisters that I grew up with, and those people still, we are connected, and if we are connected, there is a tendency to help wherever there is need. Sometimes we overdo it, of course, but there is that tendency to help. We cannot stop that. That's who you are. That's our value.
Yeah.
That's the value system we were given by our parents. So that value system, we tend to follow it because it makes us whole.
Yeah.
Holistic. If you don't help, then you don't feel like you are a person of who you want to be.
Yeah, but then what can we, because that is a really, I know you have come across it, that the young people, they don't have that much connection. Maybe they moved to USA when they were young. They did not establish the links. They hear about their uncles and their cousins, but they don't have that much attachment like we do.
Correct.
How can we make them, if we got this from our parents, then what are we going to bequeath these children if they don't want to help?
That's a very good question, and I've come across that similar question from even my own children. Hey, why? What should I do? For them, they are living they are kind of sieving themselves into the American system where it's very individualistic.
Yeah.
That you have to be alone and work on your own, which somehow helps. But they need to know that individuals exist in a community. They should find a community within which they will grow up. If it's investments, they should invest with their community in mind.
Yeah.
Their retirement in mind.
Exactly.
And how they will end up at the end of the day.
So is there anything we can do, or any advice we can do that to get them involved? They should understand that we are still African and we live with the spirit of Ubuntu. But, we are because of...
Because you are.
Yeah.
I am because you are. Yes, and we need to advise them, even though they are not connected to the home country, they still know. Even the Caucasians who moved here 200 years ago, 300 years ago, you hear of them talking about France, wherever there is even a small strike on the streets in France.
Yeah.
We hear them talk about Westminster whenever there is something small in London.
Yeah.
They should also understand that if something small happens in Nairobi, like it did last week, they should also raise their helpless and understand that those are their own people.
Yeah.
How can we help?
In
spite of the fact that they may not be connected in some way, shape or form. But one thing I would advise them is this. You cannot help if you have no means of helping.
So you have to
ground yourself first,
and then you start
helping. And then start helping.
Okay.
If you're going to help, ground yourself, go help.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. This is our first section. We'll wind for the first section. Wait for the second one. We are coming. Thank you very much.